Welcome to T-Smack, home of the T-Smack. May I take your order?
Hey there, hi there, hello there. Welcome to an all-new episode of Talking Smack, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and much, much more. Actually, this week we're pretty much talking exclusively that. I am your host, Josh Scar, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm excited. We're talking the much, much more section. So let's talk about the toll raise that's going to go through on I-80 in Chicago. There are feelings involved. I have some articles here, including the articles from the 80s that say, hey, listen, once this section is redone, no more tolls.
To and quote yet here one we of are, our favorite YouTubers, stay out of politics.
Bless you, Ryan George. We will stay out of politics. Instead, we're going to talk at the union. Oh, no, not union.
San Diego Comic-Con?
Oh, yes, let's do Comic-Con. That sounds good. You wanted to talk for some reason about Avatar again. It's still a few years away from the fourth one, but sure, I love James Cameron.
It's always worth revisiting Avatar. I mean, it's a classic from the mid-2000s, and I mean, the animation is so good. It's so hard to get away from just how amazing the craft is on the animation for Avatar.
I know. I mean, Cameron saw the right time to just introduce his version of 3D realism, and I'm just, it's beautiful.
Who the hell is Cameron? I'm talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Avatar: The Way of the Water, and Avatar. God damn it! Did we? Listen, let's talk politics. Trademark office. You're allowing too many things that are too closely related here.
No, we're compromising, and we're going to talk the Marvel panel that came up last night before we recorded. It seems like they released a new Doomsday trailer, which had been wandering around for a while. They are sticking with Doomsday as a thing with this year. Like, I thought for sure one of them was going to be moving, but Dune released a new trailer ahead of The Odyssey. And now we've got a new Doomsday trailer. Both of them are still saying December 18th. So it seems like that's going to happen. We got confirmation that, indirect confirmation, that the rumored 3-part Secret Wars Avengers thing was not going to happen because they announced that Black Panther 3 is going to be happening, and that is releasing in December of 2028. So that means this December we get Doomsday. Next December, we get Secret Wars. The December after that in 2028 is going to be Black Panther 3. Maybe the most controversial news, at least for you, Alex, is that they confirmed that David Johnson, who played, what was his, it was another A name, wasn't it? In
Alien Romulus, right?
Yeah, he was the android in Alien Romulus. He did, and I remember us praising that performance. Like he did so well up until they had him do the "Get away from her, you bitch" line, which, like, I can't fault him for that. He's delivering it the way he was told to. It's just a bad line, and not necessarily his fault. It's going to be hard to deliver that line in any meaningful way.
Andy,
but I'm okay with the casting. I think he might be a little short. I saw a video of him coming out and hugging people, and he and Letitia Wright are like the same height. And that was a little surprising to me. But otherwise, he's also in The Long Walk, which is another really good performance from him. I have faith Ryan Coogler could get a great performance out of a potato. So, like, I'm here for Ryan Coogler bringing in T'Challa Jr. and seeing where they go with this, because the expectation is Doomsday, Secret Wars. There's going to be some kind of like time dilation, and baby T'Challa is going to get grown up into big T'Challa and become Black Panther number 3, which feels like a weird trope for them to be doing and introducing a new Black Panther in every movie. It seems like it's kind of diminishing what the Black Panther is supposed to be, but I'm also just being a little facetious there.
I think it's good. He's a very strong actor. And by the way, I will have you know, I have already sent in my demo reel to Coogler. I am going for the part of potato number 4. It is during a dinner sequence, and I'm just going to lay on the table. It's going to be great, but it's stupid.
I was trying to think of a way to call you a hairy potato, since you're supposed to be a cat, but I just
doesn't.
No one wants to see a hairy potato on a table.
No, I think it's good. I am a little weirded out by the aging, just because we last saw in Wakanda Forever, which was 2022, seemingly a 3 to 5-year-old that Shuri walks up to, which would be appropriate for the distance between Black Panther to Wakanda Forever. But having someone who is as old as Shuri coming in for the mantle seems a little off. And you're right, it is a little odd that if he's coming to take over the mantle of Black Panther, then the first movie made a big deal about all the poppy being burned. And the second movie, it seemed like Shuri made like a synthetic kind that assisted her.
Yeah, she created an artificial flower that essentially has replaced the other one, which like it's hard to fault Black Panther 2 for what they had to create after Chadwick Boseman died. Like they
that was
were
just brutal.
Yeah, they were just put into a box narratively that they were just like, okay, well, we have to fix this somehow. And that was the choice that they came up with.
Personally, I really dislike movies and TV shows that make me have to accept a reality in which these two actors that are either the same age or within like a year of each other are mother or son or something like that. So it's going to be really odd to see T'Challa's son, who was as old as Shuri, standing next to her. And I'm assuming they're not going to be like, oh, she's in her 50s now. Just like it was really weird with the reboot version of the X-Men where it was like, you had the movie in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. And it had only been like 6 years, but we're supposed to believe that Fassbender and the other ones are now supposed to be in their early 60s and the 90s. And they don't even bother putting flecks of gray there. I'm like, yeah, you're like 42 and you're talking about how young Jubilee is, and Jubilee is being paid by a 25-year-old. It's like, come on. That's the only thing.
Yeah, those instances, like narratively, they just were like, no one's gonna care. They're here for the X-Men. They don't care what decade it's taking place in. And no, like the Fox movies never even cared about the continuity of anything. Marvel for a while did, but they're also seemingly just like doing a Halloween where they just went, okay, fine. Post Endgame, everything's fucking sucked, and we're just gonna barrel ahead as if we never did anything, and this is our first comeback since Endgame, which also feels disrespectful to good movies in the MCU, like Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi. Maybe find a balance. You don't have to go to extremes, but
sorry, the Doomsday trailer didn't do much for me. I am interested in it, but the second that I saw Mystique battling Yelena and a Yelena versus Yelena fight, I was just like, I don't care.
That's a weird choice because it's not like you just mimic their fighting abilities. Like doing a Yelena versus Yelena fight makes no sense other than, again, you're homaging her doing the Wolverine versus Wolverine thing from X-Men 1, which it's not a clear homage. It's just a strange choice other than, well, we don't want Rebecca Romijn to have to be on screen for too long in the makeup or whatever they did with her. And it's, I don't know. And like, are they going with a continuity where like she's an older Jennifer Lawrence and she's a good guy now after Days of Future Past, but she also died in that continuity in Dark Phoenix?
That's a great question. I'm assuming that this is the Patrick Stewart universe version of it. But the trailer kind of gave me a little bit of hope. There's just little things I don't like. I didn't like that, and I don't like Loki being back. Loki season 2 ended perfectly. It was a beautiful capstone to his journey. I just don't want to see Loki die again. This would be his like 4th death or something.
I mean, if they kill him off, yeah, it's like his 4th death, and then also I'm assuming they're going to be killing off Professor X, which means that's like the 5th or 6th time they've killed him in the last 20 years.
Yeah, like how many times can we cry over Patrick Stewart dying?
You've got him getting exploded in X-Men 3.
Mm-hmm.
You've got him dying in Logan.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yep, he gets his neck snapped in his mind. Like, yeah, there's other ways you can get rid of Professor X without just killing him. I don't know. It's a strange thing, but we did get some more confirmations. We have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 coming out this upcoming fall. No firm release date yet. Doomsday, again, still confirmed for December 18th. Vision Quest confirmed for October 14th of this year. October is a busy month this year. There's a lot of stuff happening in October.
Really? I didn't see that one. So Vision Quest is really a thing.
October 14th.
All right.
Then we've got Daredevil Born Again sometime in 2027, season 3. Secret Wars confirmed for December 17th of next year. Black Panther 3, December 15th of 2028. And then maybe the most underwhelming announcement I have ever seen at a Comic-Con, Ghost Rider starring Ryan Gosling coming out sometime in 2028. Ryan Gosling has been rumored to be in the MCU forever. Or even like going over to the DCU with a Green Lantern project when Zack Snyder was around. I cannot imagine a more I mean, I could. There are plenty of other people that Ryan Gosling could be playing where you're just like, really? That's the role they gave him? But like Ghost Rider, especially after the Stuntman movie, whatever that one was called, you're putting Ryan Gosling essentially in the same role, but he gets a flaming skull CGI helmet.
Oh my gosh, yes. It wasn't called Stuntman. It was called like Crash Man or something like that.
I forget.
I forget the name of it. Jeez. But I get that they are basically ignoring the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever existed. But I thought the Ghost Rider in that movie, that show was well received. So they're just recasting?
I mean, it's been 12 years since the end of that show, or 10 years since the end of that show. So like I kind of understand it.
Yeah, it just seems like a weird uh rollback. That's right, Gabriel Luna. That's who was it. So
Yeah.
it kind of feels a little weird to cast aside and go with Ryan Gosling, especially when Sean Levy, who's the same director who's currently filming him and
Oh yeah, they're doing
Starfighter.
Star Wars Starfighter, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended 10 years ago, man. I forget that show exists.
The middle is not great, but like the beginning is pretty solid. The ending is pretty solid once they like start really just accepting the comic book nonsense.
Oh, I bailed out, I think, midway through season 2, where I realized that they were not even gonna try anymore tying it to the MCU.
Yeah, that's fair. And like the ways they would like bend over backwards to try and be like, oh, well, something happened in the world that caused us to do this stuff, but we can't talk about it. Like, it was pretty blatantly they can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, the announcement of Ryan Gosling, like it's pretty apparent that Project Hail Mary kind of like sealed the deal where they're like, yeah, we need this guy in the MCU, even though he would have been great in the MCU 10 years ago as literally anyone else. I think he might have even made a really good Doctor Doom. But again, if you're
I can
hiring
see
a
that.
face actor like that, like you're eventually going to show their face and it's going to be disappointing one way or the other. These announcements from Marvel they're fine, but they don't carry the weight that they used to. We'll see. I am excited for Doomsday after that most recent trailer. I do have some like nerd quabbles with it, like with Steve showing up and Thor being like, "Oh, prove it to me." Like, take Mjolnir, and he like Steve calls Mjolnir to himself. I'm like, no, that's not right. He needs to just take it. Like having him just pull it just makes it look like they weren't on the same set on the same day.
Oh, they weren't. You know that.
Probably not. But it's still just annoying that apparently anyone who has lifted Mjolnir can just be like, my turn, and just take it.
Well, what's gonna really piss you off is when Doctor Doom picks it up.
That won't make me mad at all. Like, I think that's a really interesting interpretation of the, like, if they be worthy kind of thing. And if like, there's what show was it? There's a show where there's like, if you're pure of heart, you can do this. And, the person, I think it was Spectacular Spider-Man. Someone's trying to steal like King Arthur's sword. Someone comes in. Oh no, it's Young Justice. That's what it is. Greg Weisman, same producer on both shows. In Young Justice, there's an episode where someone like they murder their sister to like become pure evil, and they steal Arthur's sword because only the pure of heart can lift it and wield it. And so like everyone just assumes like, oh, you have to be pure good, you have to be pure of heart and just great and kingly, knightly, whatever. And this guy who like murdered his family and his little sister picks up the sword and like, what the hell? Why are you evil? And how can you wield the sword? It's like, it just says you have to be pure of heart. It doesn't say you have to be pure good. And I like, it's such a good twist on those sort of like mythologies. I really like stuff like that. So like if
Yeah.
Doom can lift Mjolnir by being worthy because like he's trying to save the universe in some fashion, like I'm all for it.
I do have a small quibble. Like, if Steve Rogers is back, we already know Sam's in it. I don't want like an argument over like who is Cap. I don't want anything like that. I just want a good moment to see Sam and Steve, kind of like an inversion maybe of the Bucky Cap fight against Iron Man, where they're both trading off using the shield. I want to see that. I don't
That
want to
would be
see like
good.
some. I don't want to see some tension of like, well, I mean, or like some like really obvious like you're being a really great captain or something, and like to like calm down people who are still pissed at Sam's Cap now. No, I don't want that. Just don't acknowledge it. Just give us a good scene where they're both using the shield together, where you see why they are both worthy of the mantle. That's all.
I also want to see Steve play mediator in the throuple that is Sam, Bucky, and Steve.
That'd be great too. I'd be excited about that. Heck, you know what? If need be, you can have faux Cap in there too. We'll have the 3 Cap. We'll have faux Cap, Agent USA, Bucky, and Sam all working. Sam and Steve all working together briefly.
I don't want that. I don't want US Agent anywhere near my Caps. He's a dick, and I don't want him. I love Wyatt Russell, but no, thank you on him. If anything, I want Sam, Steve, and Bucky to see US Agent pop in and be like, "Yeah, Captain America, bros, let's go," and then being like, "What? Excuse you? No, you murdered someone with this shield. You get the fuck away."
Okay, you know what? We'll do. We'll have another callback. The 4 of them will be in the back of the car. Well, I mean, we'll be in a car, and he will say, "Hey, can I have some leg room?" And like, it'll be Steve who goes, "Nope."
So that's our quick Marvel Comic-Con breakdown. Quick being 20 minutes or so. We're going to hear from Dan and Dan over at Gaming Views, and when we come back, we're going to talk our topic of the week, which is Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the trailer for Gaming Views. Think of it as the demo level before the real action kicks off.
We're Dan, and every week we're bringing hot takes, breaking news, deep dives, and everything gaming related.
From the biggest headlines to retro classics, hardware breakdowns, and inside scoops on developers, we cover it all.
So level up your gaming knowledge, subscribe to Gaming Views wherever you get your podcasts, and don't miss out.
And much like the Avatar gang, we are back, and we are here to talk about Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. I think it's also exclusively available on Pirates Bay. That may be the best place to watch it. But seriously, if you have a way of supporting this film legitimately, please do so. I just won't promote the studio behind it because they are horrible and we don't like them anymore. Or maybe we never did. I don't know. They originally produced the Marvel movies and they produced Indiana Jones. Weird nostalgia feelings for the company, but modernly they're not great. Which also makes them producing Avatar stuff really strange because Avatar is about unity and cohesion in the world and tolerance, but that's not the owners of Paramount. But let's talk about Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender, the Lego sequel in a sense of the Avatar The Last Airbender TV series, also somewhat of a prequel to Legend of Korra, but not entirely, mostly just setting up Republic City. Alex, you are not extraordinarily nostalgic for Avatar.
No.
How did you feel about the movie as someone who is not as invested as someone like me?
It's beautiful. Like, whatever they decided to do to pump movie revenue into this movie, it's gorgeous to look at. I get why people like the Avatar. The character interactions are wonderful. The personalities are mostly fully defined. The writing was great. It's a fun movie. I haven't seen all of the Avatar stuff. I've watched, I think, most of the first season and some of the second of the animated show, and I kind of bailed out because other stuff came up. I started watching the second season of the live action.
We were actually going to be covering that today, but then I remembered this movie came out, and I was like, let's talk good Avatar. Even if this isn't great, this is still going to be better than the live action Netflix shit.
I couldn't. I tried. I haven't watched The Legend of Korra yet. They also announced there's a sequel to Legend of Korra coming out. Avatar Seven Havens, Secret Heavens.
Yeah, it's not it's a follow-up series. It takes place, I think, like 100 years or 1,000 years after the events of Legend of Korra, and like the world is in just shambles. And the Avatar has kind of disappeared because everyone blames the Avatar for what happened. And so the new Avatar has to like come out and try to find a way to fix the world, which they released a trailer for that one too this week at Comic-Con, which it looks fine, although I feel like the animation looks a little cheap. Like it's not quite on the same level as like the Dragon Prince in terms of like the frame rate, but there's just something a little off with the animation that it just seems like they were not given a budget for this show. So like the writing is going to carry it more than the animation will.
It reminded me that I need to go back and finish it. Not that I think there's anything in the show where I was just like, I don't understand, because the first 3 or 4 minutes is kind of a recap reminding you like who everyone is. I don't think the credits roll until about minute 11 or 12, where you start to actually get going with what this new episode's about. But even then, I didn't feel like I was being overwhelmed with information. It was just more that long, slow start of like, what is the joke? Everybody lived in harmony until the Fire Nation attacked. It's just like, this is what we are. And you do get to see like not Korra, the waterbend.
Katara.
Yeah, Katara. You get to see her like grow up into her mature self now, and the Fire Nation person, the Earthbender
Toph.
Thank you. And you see that, and it's this nice little introduction of like the world that they've built. I like I said, I really, really liked it. I can see why at one point they may have been considering a theatrical release for it, because it doesn't look or feel like just an extended cartoon episode. I mean, it feels a lot more like a movie than Mandalorian did.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was like a $200 million movie. What did you feel about it?
I really liked it. I think the script does a lot of the heavy lifting, because I don't. Yeah. There are moments where you can tell that like a lot of these voice actors are recording by themselves. There's not a back and forth. Again, as an original Avatar fan, they did recast everyone from the team Avatar. So Zach Tyler Eisen, Mae Whitman, Jack DeSena, Dante Bosco, Michaela Murphy, they're all not returning in this film. They don't even have cameos, I don't believe, somewhere in the film. They've all been recast. So Aang is Eric Nam, Katara is Jessica Matten, Sokka is Roman Zaragoza, which I think he's maybe the best in the recast. I think Eric Nam does a really good job as Aang as well. He carries that like childlike whimsy in him, but when they have him voicing the younger Aang as well, it's a little off. And then this one, as a fan who has watched so many times Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, Steven Yeun as Zuko, I knew something was off about it. Like I hear it, I understand it, but I did not understand why it bothered me. And then I was watching it, and when he starts talking, like something just clicked in my head, and I realized I don't like this casting, because he is also previously an Avatar in Avatar: Legend of Korra. There is like a 2-part episode where Korra, I think in season 2 or 3, she is knocked unconscious, and she's just like wandering the spirit world in her psyche, trying to reconnect with her Avatar spirits. And she goes all the way back to the very first Avatar and like how the world was in the beginning. It's an episode you'll love. Not only is the animation gorgeous, but like it's really amazing storytelling and world building. But Steven Yeun plays Wan, who is the very first Avatar. He gets outcast from his village because he abuses the bending ability that the lion turtles bestow upon him. And he just starts wandering the world, where like in this version of the world, the spirit world and the real world are like merged into one. And so like the reason bending exists is so humans can fend off violent spirits. And as he's wandering, he kind of meets other lion turtles and gets the other bending elements and becomes the first avatar. And I'm not going to spoil anything else, but it's two really amazing episodes of television and just beautiful art, great script, great acting. And Steven Yeun is this character. He's the very first avatar. And so when he shows up as Zuko, after I realized it in the movie, I'm like, that's why I don't like this, is because you're kind of breaking the continuity. And Dante Bosco can do an older Zuko. He's 10 years older than he was when they did the show. He doesn't have to do the hello Zuko here. Like he doesn't have to do the young Zuko impression. He can just be himself and do the voice. But they're trying to kind of maintain a more cultural continuity with the characters this time around. Whereas like Mae Whitman and Jack DeSena, they're both Caucasian actors and they're playing people who are very clearly supposed to be like Inuit inspired or East Asian inspired. So they just went with a complete recast of a more like centralized Asian cast. For the most part, I think everyone does a really good job, although I think the weakest of them is Jessica Madden as Katara. I think she's just a little too flat. She doesn't carry the weight that Mae Whitman put into the character. But everyone else, I think, does a really good job. And I'm not saying Jessica Madden does a bad job. I think she just, either the voice direction or the takes that they chose to go with, they all just felt really flat. They didn't feel like really impactful and powerful. The voice cast recasting is something I really wanted to get off my chest, especially the Steven Yeun thing, because again, I found that a really weird choice to just not bring back Dante Bosco. I think that it might have been more just like, if we're not bringing back these people, maybe we just don't bring back Dante and we just call it a day. But as far as the actual on-screen product that we get, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the script carries a lot of this. The dialogue is great. Eric Nam does a great job of being an older Aang. Dave Bautista's Taga is extraordinarily surprising. Like there are moments in the film where I'm like, that's Dave Bautista. But then there are moments where he's getting like really aggressive and angry. And usually Bautista will do like a growl. Like he'll just go into his Drax mode. But then he holds back on it. And I was like, maybe it's not Bautista. Maybe it's just someone who sounds a lot like Dave Bautista. And then I watched the credits and sure enough, it is Dave Bautista's like, wow, he like restrained himself, because there is this like really understated strength and wisdom in Taga that I think really makes him, spoiler alert, he makes him a really great villain, because it's a pretty obvious trope if you've seen Korra or Avatar or The Last Airbender. So like when you see him trapped in that suspension bubble, it makes sense that he would end up being the villain. I was more surprised at the insinuation of like, oh, the Earthbenders were peacekeepers, and I was just really dreading that the Earthbenders were going to be the dominant benders of his era. And when we find out that no, the Earthbenders were actually the peacekeepers, and he just took it to an extreme after he saw so many of his comrades die in battle that he broke. I was like, okay, that's more understandable. I was just really getting concerned that we were going to be dealing with an avatar that was evil and putting a hat on a hat instead of it being an evil airbender. It's also an evil avatar. And so her hiding away in shame made a lot more sense than it was her just not wanting to be around the goody two shoes avatars. So I was really happy with that. But overall, I it's a must see movie for me, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really great reintroduction to this world, and as you said, the animation is gorgeous. There are some shots in there that it's not the same kind of art style as the last or the Wild Robot, but it is kind of that same idea of every frame a painting. Every shot in this film you could just put on a wall and be like, yeah, that's from Avatar, The Last Airbender, and people would be like, oh, it's beautiful.
No, I can agree with that. Now, I do have one minor quibble about the voice acting since you brought it up. There was a recast in the voice acting that really, really pissed me off. The cabbage. Merchant was replaced.
Yeah.
James C is replaced by Ken Jeong. Why would you recast?
Why do you need to recast it? They brought him back for the Netflix show.
I don't know.
They brought the original guy back for the Netflix show, and you have to bring in a celebrity to be the Cabbage Man for this one with Ken Jeong?
It was so weird. That aside, I had the same reaction to Dave Bautista as you did, because when watching the movie, I was like, that voice is familiar. And it was a little itch I couldn't resolve. And then he said some line. I went, that's Dave Bautista. It was one of the gentler lines, because as the movie unfolds, Aang is dealing with a threat that he cannot quite handle. They're working to rebuild the world in peace. And he is really burdened that he is the only airbender. The other societies are building up. You still have Toph and the Fire Nation.
Zuko,
thank you. And you have their societies really being built up. But he's by himself. And I mean, part of me is like, my friend, you are now in your 20s. And you have a girlfriend. There's a natural way to do this. It will take time and it will take energy, but you can do it. Have children, raise them up. But I actually don't know how airbenders are made. So
that's one question that Ricky and I were really kind of trying to figure out, because we thought for the longest time, I've thought that like airbenders are like Jedi, where they just get born into the world, and then once it's discovered that they're airbenders, they get taken to the air temples to be raised as a monk and learn the ways of being an air nomad. But this movie didn't really talk about any of that. It did go into like the origins of being an airbender, where they were able to make more using the staff. But they never really talked about how apparently each bending ability is landlocked, like it's locked within each region. So if you're in the North or South Poles, you're pretty much going to be an airbender or a waterbender or nothing. If you're in the Fire Nation, you're going to be a firebender or nothing. If you're in the Earth Kingdom, you're going to be an earthbender or nothing. And I guess maybe someone could migrate from one area to another, and maybe they, like if a waterbender moved to the Earth Kingdom, like maybe their DNA would give them waterbending powers. I don't know how it works, but it's something that I feel like they could discuss and reveal, and it would make plenty of sense however they want to do it.
And so Aang is dealing with a group called the Deniers, which, by the way, that's a great name, by the way.
Oh, the Denied.
Oh, the Denied? I thought they called them Deniers.
No, I think they were just straight up the Denied. I can speak today.
I like that. Especially you give the leader of them. She has this cool little like almost dagger like red painting around her eyes, which I was like, that's a nice little detail. It kind of like lifted from Sokka's girlfriend from like season 2, that assassin tribe.
Oh, Suki, who gets a raw deal in this movie.
Yeah, where is she, by the way?
She gets a cameo at the end when they're doing like all the still shots of Republic City rebuilding.
So are her and Sokka not together? You muted
That's
yourself.
something that, as far as I know, we still have not really resolved, is that did Sokka and Suki end up together, or did they just end up becoming friends? I haven't read all of the supplemental comic material that they deal with, so I have no idea what the end result is for Sokka Suki as a relationship. I was really mad there was no Mei and there was no Suki. I know they're bringing back the original Avatar gang just to keep the roster smaller, but I really wish they would have at least brought Suki along. But like they don't even acknowledge Mei.
Well, kind of, because where I left off in the TV show, I think it was like episode 3 or 4, something like that. They had the big dramatic romantic moment between the two of them where their fingers touched. And I was like, oh, okay, by season 3, we may get a chaste kiss. But she wasn't there at all. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's single again. He's the only person who I did not actively enjoy, because I felt like his attitude character was completely stunted. Like, he has not matured, changed, or anything in 13 years. Which is maybe why they kind of jettisoned her, to be like, listen, we can't have him actually like, we cannot have him be in his late 20s, early 30s, and she actually still likes him. Not with this attitude.
He's supposed to be in his mid-20s. I think he was like
Okay.
15. I think he's 15. So if this is 10 years after, he's 25.
Okay.
But no, I think that's actually a really good point. Maybe they put her out of the movie so that he feels more just like regular original Sokka, and he doesn't have that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am all for Suki. I love Suki. She's probably my favorite character in this entire franchise.
She's amazing.
But I don't think they wanted the relationship baggage making Sokka a little less Sokka-like.
I can see that.
And so maybe that's the reason they decided to just not have her around. So like maybe when she's around, he's a different guy, but when she's not around, he's like original recipe Sokka.
I can see that.
Maybe that's why they decided not to do that, is they didn't want him having the baggage of the relationship to alter his character enough so that even though we have all these new characters who are grown a little more mature, Sokka still just feels like Sokka. And so like we just kind of, even though he does feel a little static, he's still older and doing more stuff, but he's also still just that kid at heart.
So the Denied are causing problems, and they're looking for the staff of Sonam, a legendary bender. Avatar? Yeah, a legendary avatar.
Yeah, she was an avatar. She's the lost avatar.
And Aang is having problems because as powerful as he still feels weak against groups. And there's a great early battle scene where he's struggling to basically right a tower and then passes out and is heavily injured from it. Which, wait, the scene where Katara is healing him with the water, seeing that in animated form made me remember why it doesn't really work for me well in the live action show, because it's basically they just take a bubble of water, a little, big ass water droplet, and they like kind of rub it into you, and it heals your body as it happens. And I was like, okay, that's kind of like weirdly animated, but I can kind of see what they're going for. But seeing it, and then the live action, but seeing it actually animated, I'm like, I get what they mean for it. It blends better. The separation of live action to animation makes it feel oddly enough more real, more plausible. But as Aang's speaks to the other avatars in his avatar state, he finds out some information, he starts looking for it, and that's where he finds Dave Bautista's Taga, which he thinks originally is Somnam. But it turns out that this person was never an avatar. They're just an airbender from long, long ago. And that first like 15, 20 minutes of Aang seeing what a quote unquote trained real airbender is like and how powerful they can be, that they don't need gliders. It's like, no, we can fly. That they like, he's like, he's like, where he's teaching him how to actually embrace his powers and some of the moves and hand movements and stuff that he never got to learn because his progression was stunted as a child by being frozen because the Fire Nation attacked. I loved that. And that's where I didn't know it was Dave Bautista. It was just this deep, burly guy.
It was a deep, gentle voice. It was just, it's a lovely performance.
It's great.
Did you catch the, someone who loves world building, did you catch the identifier that he was not a natural born airbender?
No.
So the tattoo on his forehead, the arrow tattoo, matches the staff.
Oh.
So if you look at Sonam, she has a completely different tattoo as a natural born airbender. And I think it's a way of them like, not necessarily a caste system, but them kind of like honoring, like, you were not natural born airbender, but you are still an airbender, but your tattoos are going to be different to kind of signify that. And I thought that was a really cool touch with the way it was, or maybe it was just for him as the first transition into airbending, artificial. But
because the staff, the MacGuffin, the staff is a staff of a great power that the avatars, that the avatar made, the lost avatar, and so she can grant people airbending powers.
She's able to tap into the spirit world and use the power of the lion turtles to create airbenders to bolster their numbers as a peacekeeping corps.
Yeah, which the deniers are the Denied. You're right. It is the Denied. The Denied are after it because basically they're like, why are some of us not allowed powers? This is ridiculous. And it turns out there's this magical staff, and which I think is a fascinating way of doing things, but also it explains why, to me, it helps reinforce why there are so few airbenders, is because there are supposed to be this small contingent of powerful peacekeepers, and they should not be bolstered. They should not have they should not be in a power stasis where they have so many numbers around them that they can enforce their own will. They are the mediators, because if you start just gifting this power out to everybody, you start having conflicts and issues with other nations. It diminishes the role. I like that. I was a little afraid when it was starting to build up. I'm like, so is this going to be like some kind of like everybody is like nobody special because everybody's special kind of lesson? What's going to happen with it? But you see that initially was a mistake, that if we were taking away the right of whether it's DNA or the spirit world or however people emerge with powers, and you enforce it upon everyone, you're going to disrupt the balance of nature. And Dave Bautista does a damn good job of doing that.
The Denied are a really good foreshadowing for Legend of Korra. So like if you go from Avatar: The Last Airbender to Avatar: Aang, the Last Airbender into the Legend of Korra, the Denied are the precursor to the Equalists that we see in Legend of Korra, because the first season deals with essentially the same story of people who have no bending abilities are underrepresented or have no representation at all, and they hate that they are second-class citizens to benders. And so the entire season is escalating to this civil war concept of the Equalists trying to overtake the benders through like technological means and other ways, because the benders have become so powerful in Republic City and across the world that anyone who does not have bending is just stuck. They can't do anything because they don't have power.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
I was looking it up because the name looked familiar, and I was looking at the Comic-Con pictures from I think last year, or maybe it was earlier this week. So the voice of Sokka, I think the reason we really like him, on top of just doing a good performance, is he is in our favorite show, which also just happens to be a Paramount thing. Roman Zaragoza, or Roman Zaragoza, I'm guessing because he has an accent. He is maybe better known as Sasapis in
No way.
Ghosts. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Badass. Good. Man, make like 2 or 3 more. Give him work.
Yeah.
Whenever he has the opportunity in the show to literally let his hair down, and like when he's in Jay's dreams or the other friend's dreams or whatever, than that, every single time my wife and I go like, God damn, he's a drag. It's just like he's great at the show. I love his ability as Sasapi to just be this chaos gremlin who just is amused by causing disruption with everybody. And then he being Sokka, okay, that's awesome. I didn't realize that.
And then looking at the cast list again, we didn't talk about Toph a lot, but Dion Kwan, who is the voice of Toph, she is legally blind. So like that's a little cool extra bit of casting that they did. She was also the voice of Kimmy in the Rugrats, starting with the Rugrats in Paris movie. She's also Trixie Tang in The Fairly Odd Parents. So she's had some good work.
That's cool. Neat. Very cool.
So as we start wrapping up, let's just do real quick. Which one was your favorite cameo? The main cameos that we had were Ronnie Chang as the Fire Nation messenger. As you mentioned, Ken Jeong as the Cabbage Man for whatever reason. You also had Taika Waititi as the Spirit, which that was another one where I was like, that sounds like they're trying to be Taika Waititi, but it doesn't sound quite like Taika Waititi. And then the other one was Kihei Kwan as Avatar Jean.
For one, I did not know Kihei Kwan. I didn't realize that.
Oh man, how did you not pick up on that? Like that was as soon as he started talking, like that's Kihei Kwan. I love him.
Because
I also love having this like demure, tiny, nerdy little avatar instead of them being like just these hulking bodies.
He was the last one. They like the old.
He was the one that sent him towards the mountain.
I legit thought that was a female actor. Oh, okay. You know what? Now I can hear it. Okay. Okay, I get it now. All right. Yeah, because he. All right. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I didn't like Takeshi Wakiti being the gorilla aardvark. I thought he was doing a Jermaine Clement shiny kind of thing.
Yeah, that's maybe what it sounded more like. Because he was definitely putting on a performance. He wasn't just being Taika Waititi. At one point, I thought it was maybe Rhys Ifans, or not Rhys Ifans. What the heck's his name? Rhys Darby. I thought it might have been Rhys Darby. But then I saw in the credits it was Taika Waititi, and it was just like, that's a little more disappointing because the creators of Avatar have a relationship with Rhys Darby because he played Karan in the Netflix Voltron series.
Oh, okay. I didn't particularly none of the cameos really stood out to me. But now I'm so ashamed that I didn't realize it was Ki Huang. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Oh, the burden of rewatching a good movie.
I liked Ronnie Chang as the Fire Nation messenger just because he's forced to read a message out loud and he's just revealing all of these little secrets between Aang and Zuko.
That was great.
I like that one because that's a perfect Ronnie Chang opportunity. I understood that casting 100%.
I mean, there's not a lot to say other than it's just a good movie. I really thought when I realized it was Dave Bautista, because I was like, okay, I'm going to pause and look this up, and it is. I was really afraid that I was going to be like, oh, okay, here we go. This is going to be. He had a good, but it's like once you realize who it is, it's going to be like, oh, okay, here we go. It's going to start to suck. But no, it was great. The battles were great. The resolution.
It's one of those performances as well that's like, Taga is not in the right. He's not in one of those the villain was right categories, but he's in one of those I can empathize with how he's feeling categories. And that's also still a really good villain.
Definitely. It's the situation presented allows you to sympathize and understand why, but you never agree with how.
Yeah.
And there were some nice emotional beats that I really enjoyed. I hope that this allows them to start maybe doing a few more movies like this. I don't necessarily want another season just because I would have to catch up. Another movie, a little bit more. I still find Aang and Sokka, Katara and Toph really engaging. And it made me so retroactively angry at Star Wars 7 through 9. Because Star Wars 7 through 9, as a Lego cool, whatever you want to call them, has our heroes be dirtbags. And they failed. This, our heroes have succeeded. They're just dealing with new threats. And I loved that.
That's another point that I don't think I touched on really. I talked about the script doing a lot of the work. And I think that's because, again, you have a whole group of new actors playing these roles that they're not familiar with. And so the script is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of building the chemistry between the characters. That's kind of what I was trying to get at, was that they're not constantly referencing other things. You get the introduction in the first 5 minutes of the film where everyone's just kind of like, oh, hey, I had a sword and I did this. I discovered metal bending. Zuko was my teacher and my best friend now. And all these other things. They do a really quick exposition dump. When it comes to the gang interacting with each other, the script and the chemistry created in the words on the page carries over into the final product. And it's just perfect in terms of it doesn't feel like these characters missed a beat. You're being reintroduced to old friends and you're like, yes, I understand who they are. I know who they are. A lot of it does require having prior experience with the characters. I don't think someone could come into this film cold and be like, okay, I understand what's happening. But I do think they could come into the film cold and be like, okay, these characters have a history and I understand that there is a chemistry with them. But there's the give and take. But overall, I think it is something that you could introduce someone to the Avatar franchise with this and then have them go back into the original series and be like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I agree. We need more Avatar. It's damn good.
It just needs to make a couple billion at the box office and maybe they'll do it.
Wait, I'm bringing up right now the box. They've had 3 Avatar movies, each make over 1.5 billion. What the hell, Josh?
It's like poetry. It rhymes. We brought it back from the very beginning. So did you like, I hate that they just called it Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. They just added Aang into the title. Like, I think it was originally titled like The Legend of Aang or something like that, or the Avatar Aang, The Legend of the Last Airbender. I don't know what I forget what it was originally called, but like calling it Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender is just a little annoying. But if you enjoyed this film, the title being the worst part of any of it, let us know in the Discord. Alex, let everyone know about the Discord.
Our Discord is tsmackpod@gmail.com. There's a link down below. It's where we post our news, instant reactions, thoughts, opinions on everything, including the much, much more. And if you are listening after today, if you're listening today, you will have seen my reaction to the end of the Tour de France, because that is ending as we're recording.
So you can click the link in the episode description and find out what Alex thinks about, the end result of the Tour de France. I forgot to hit play on this thing, so I'm just going to enter that. I'll edit that in later. That makes my life easier, actually. Please follow, like, subscribe, review the podcast on your podcatcher of choice. I don't have the music underscoring me now, so now I'm just like, what am I even doing with my life? You can follow us at... Seriously, man, what the hell is happening with my brain now? You can follow us on social media at Talking Smack Pod. We are on Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube. You can email us at tsmackpod@gmail.com. Thank you to Leo Allen for our musical themes, Beppo for our original avatars, Retro Ale Studios for our Ricky avatar. Please like, subscribe, rate, review on your podcatcher of choice. Leave comments on other podcatchers such as Spotify and YouTube. Alex, there's a TV show out there that people should be watching. What is that TV show?
Star Trek Brave New Worlds. Strange New Worlds comes out season 4 in like a few weeks, I believe.
I think it just started, actually.
Well, then there you go. I think I'm pretty sure it's the last season of it.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Go watch that.
Or maybe there's one more.
Maybe.
I think they're doing a total of 50 episodes, so maybe one more season. No. But there's a puppet episode in this season coming up sometime soon, so that we have that to look forward to. Thanks everyone for listening. Take care. Watch Star Trek.
Who loves T-Smack?
I love T-Smack. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh.